And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you into this UPTV Urbana Tigers Media Network presentation. It's Urbana Tigers Girls Softball. I'm Joey Wright. Jason Liggett will join us in just a moment. First at-bat of the game for Central. First pitch, foul ball bunt that went foul. Again, I'm Joey Wright. Jason Liggett will join us in just a moment. He's getting our center field camera situated. Second pitch of the game for Autumn Dysert. Pitcher for Urbana, fouled away. Strike number 2. Very cold, very windy here in Urbana, Illinois this afternoon. Seems to be a recurring theme if you've tuned into our girls soccer broadcast, I should say, as well as our baseball broadcast. It's been an unseasonably cold spring so far. And a 2-2 count now to the first batter, Stump, for Central. We don't have first names for these Central Maroons, so I apologize to that. Nonetheless, Autumn Dysert's going to get the first strikeout of the game, and that will bring up the next batter for Central, M. Patton. And here's a high ball number 1. Later on, we'll discuss the Tigers' trip to Disney World over spring break. This is grounded straight back to the mound. Dysert throws to first. Lauren Matson, the first baseman, and it's the second out of the half inning. Third batter for Central, P. Lucy. Stands in. She is the third baseman this afternoon. Again, if we do get first names for you, we will relay those along to you. Meanwhile, Dysert just has to look to continue the momentum that she's accrued over this top of the first so far. 2 batters, 2 outs. And we'll see what Dysert has for us in this third at-bat of the ballgame. And a high ball 1. 1-0. Not as cold as I thought it would be, but it's still very cold. And the second pitch of the at-bat grounded to the third base side. 1-1 the count. Dysert's in a good position here, 1-1. The pitch is popped up to left, and it's off the wall out there in left field. We'll see if Urbana can throw it in. Looks like it's going to be a double for Central early on, and it is. So a nice job done by the Maroons with 2 outs to battle back and get a runner on second. And we'll see what Caldwell can do at the plate, number 10, the catcher. And looked like Central was going to look at a shot at stealing third base, but they marched back. Jason Liggett joins us on the mic. Jason, you're getting our center field camera all set up out there.
Yes, I was. We're all set up and ready to go here at Urbana High School. 2 outs here in the top of the first.
Yep. And this is popped up to center field. Looks like that's Delaney going back. Can't make the catch. She'll have to throw it in. Central is going to get 1 run out of this. Throw to second is not in time. Looked like Delaney got that into the second baseman, Shea Feller, in time. Yes, it was a little late. Hard to see from behind this chain link fence. It's not really hard to see, but more difficult than there would be if there was no fence. 1 run does come across to score for the Maroons, and it's 1-0.
So we saw a nice start here for Urbana as they get a strikeout followed by a ground out, and now Central starts to lay in here.
And Central's going to look to score a run here, and they will. And they'll advance to second, too. Not the best throw home to the catcher, Aaron Wright, and Central up 2-0. Yeah, Jason, they started out really well, and now they're falling apart a little bit. We'll see if they can
maybe facing the heart of the order here for the Maroons, as the Maroons have back-to-back-to-back doubles.
Grounded straight back to Dysert on the mound. And throw to Madsen is in time. And that's the third out of the top of the first. Not really a mound in softball, but for our purposes, we will address it as such. Here's the starting lineup for the Urbana Tigers this afternoon, presented by athletics2000.com/Urbana, your home for information on Tigers athletics. Leading off for the Tigers will be the second baseman, Maddie Sanders. Cameron White will bat second, and it'll be first baseman, Lauren Madsen. Shea Feller, the shortstop, will bat fourth. Aaron Wright, the catcher, will bat fifth. Michaela Delaney in center field bats sixth. Caitlin Coleman, the third baseman, bats seventh. Emily Pittman, the left fielder, bats eighth. Haley Rucker bats ninth. And Autumn Dysert, the pitcher, does not bat. She would bat 10th, but that will not be the case. On the bench for Urbana, Amanda Lowry, Anais Flintroy, Sierra Gallegos, Cortland Coleman, and Jill Carter. The head coach of the Urbana Tigers is Bill Harmon. And Jason, I mentioned this at the top of the show. It's a chilly one here in Urbana this afternoon.
It is some somewhat unseasonably chilly temperatures here this week and into next week here in central Illinois. Chance of a little bit of snow tomorrow. Low of 29 on Friday night. Not too sure. I think it's a low of 33 or so this evening. But I don't think that'll be once we're already home and in bed, Joe. I don't think we'll get that low, but feels about in the mid-40s right now, and that's being kind of generous.
Well, I should remind you, we are covering softball, 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, I believe.
We're going to do the soccer tournament at Urbana High School. Tomorrow, Urbana's game is at 6 p.m.
6
So
p.m.
although the tournament starts at 4, Urbana's going to play the second game tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
And then we will cover the afternoon game on Saturday. Hopefully that'll be Urbana in the championship. If not, hopefully it'll be Urbana in the third-place game.
Yep.
So we'll see how far the Tigers can make it.
The website had a 4 and an 8 start.
Those are just the starts of the tournament.
Okay.
They just announced the tournament earlier this week, so I just haven't updated it yet. But yeah, so it'll be 6 p.m. tomorrow from Blackman Field.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's 46 degrees right now here at the ballpark.
What's the wind on that? It's pretty cold. The wind hasn't been as strong as I thought it would be, but I thought I saw a 20-mile-an-hour wind forecasted.
Well, it hasn't been anywhere near that.
Yeah.
There might be gusts up to around, I don't know, I'd say 12 to 15 mile an hour. But it's steady. It's not too gusty out today. Not what we've seen over on the soccer field, the couple of games that we've covered there this season. Yep.
And I have to tell you, last Saturday I did a public address for the track meet, the girls' track meet at the field, and it was last Saturday the wind was incredible. I mean, 50-mile-an-hour gusts blew the high jump mat over, and that's not a light mat. So
I was up in Chicago last weekend and lived up to its name of the Windy City. We had a lot of snow in Chicago. I shouldn't say a lot of snow. None of it really stuck, but I was walking the streets and it felt like a lot of snow because it was blowing right at me.
Yep. The lake effect snow, would that be, or would that? I'm not entirely sure what that. That's what.
Yep.
That's what I figured. You hear a lot about that. More on the weather later. Maddie Sanders steps in for the Tigers. She also played volleyball, so heard a little bit about her on the volleyball broadcast. Several of these softball players played volleyball. She's certainly not the only one. And the first pitch to Sanders, inside and behind her. That'll be ball number 1.
Any basketball players on this team? I looked kind of down the list, and no names really looked familiar from basketball season to me.
A lot of them used to play basketball, but I think Aaron Wright played on the JV team.
Okay.
That's the only one that sticks out to me immediately. And that's inside. I believe that's going to be ball number 2. Softball strike zone, a little bit different than the baseball strike zone. The mound, what would be the mound, is much closer to the batter's box. And the pitch, this is inside for a strike. Inside strike. Looks like it's 2-1. It's a little hard to see the scoreboard from where we're sitting. We'll say 2-1 to Sanders. Popped up, and that's going to hit the bumper of a vehicle to the right side of me.
I parked about as far away as I could on this side of the parking lot, so hopefully I'm safe. I pulled up to unload all the equipment, and then I said, wait a minute, I don't want to leave my car here.
Yeah.
There's a reason I got a prime parking spot, because no one else wanted to leave their car here either.
Yeah.
So we see someone pull into a not-so-prime parking spot right now.
Yeah.
See if they can get a dinger.
Well, I think last year we saw, I don't think we saw any windshields shattered, but I know we saw some cars get hit. And Sanders will draw a walk. Good at-bat from Maddie. Cameron White will step into the box now. Listed as a position that I'm not quite sure what DP stands for in softball. But we'll figure that out later. As the first pitch to White is ball 1. I want to say it's designated hitter for the pitcher is what we're looking at here. That would be my guess. 1-0 pitch, and that's going to be an inside strike to White. So it's 1-1. Bottom half of the first. The Tigers are down 2-0. Last year there were several intense games between the Maroons and the Tigers as White fouls this one off. That was a bunt, and I was surprised to see that go as high as it did. Almost left the park behind or over the screen behind home plate.
DP, of course, standing for designated player. And just as you suggested, a flex player for the pitcher in this case.
Yep.
As we see Sanders steal second base. Yep. So Tigers, no outs here. Runner on second.
Well, actually, Cameron White struck out.
Excuse me, yeah. One out, and Matson's up now.
Trust me, I had several moments like that in our baseball game that we covered last Tuesday, I want to say. Or maybe it was last Thursday. This is going to be dropped by the catcher, and Matty Sanders is going to get it into third easily. So good chance here for Lauren Matson. One out, and Sanders on third base. We will see what Matson can do here at the plate. Shea Feller, the shortstop, is on deck, and Aaron Wright, who many people claim to be the best player on this team, would be after Feller. And looking at some of the stats for Aaron Wright, that's not a hard assumption to make. One of the games early in the season, she went 4 for 4, I think 5 RBIs and 2 home runs. I couldn't do that. Matson pops up. This is going to fall in. Sanders is going to come home, and she is going to score. Cuts the lead in half. And an RBI single for Lauren Matson.
So Matson able to make contact with that ball. Looks like it could have been an out there, but shortstop not going back quite quick enough, and no one getting that ball, and she's on safely at first. Gets the run across, and Urbana trails 2-1 now here in the bottom of the first. That pitcher is high. Base runner able to make it back to first.
Pickoff attempt almost got Matson. It did not. I'm looking, I'm seeing some hesitation to park right next to the field. One car pulled in and then backed away. Pickoff attempt to get Matson. Is going to get past the first baseman down there. Matson will stay at first. Some real nice sunshine is heading our way right now. Don't know how long that'll last.
Judging by looking at the clouds, probably about 30 seconds or so if we're lucky. But yeah, it does feel nice.
3 balls, not sure how many strikes to Feller. And she can do a little bit of everything. She can pitch and play shortstop. But 2 positions I know she plays. Looks like we've got at least a 3-1 count, maybe 3-2. And of course, the worst nightmare for Urbana would be a double play right here. We will see. And this is a foul tip. Now we know for sure it's 3-2. But as long as Urbana can avoid the double play, they should be all right with Aaron Wright on deck. popped up. Will that hit a car? No. Not yet, at least.
Not even on the bounce. I don't think it did. So
no. It might roll into a tire or something, but doesn't look like there's any danger of that. And the 3-2 pitch to Feller, that's going to get her. Throw down to second, not in time, and Matson has a stolen base. Risky play, but it's going to pay off for Urbana as number 28, Aaron Wright, will stroll into the batter's box.
So runner in scoring position now for the Tigers, but 2 out. We'll see if they can keep the line moving here as Aaron Wright steps up to the plate.
And we'll see what Wright can do. First pitch, an inside strike. In baseball, you'd say a single could definitely score a runner from second. Softball, it's a little different, a smaller field. A single scored a runner earlier from second, so it's not impossible, but it's a little bit more difficult.
We see a wild pitch there. Catcher not able to come up with it, and they head over to third base.
So it's a moot point. They're not going to have a runner on second as Matson advances to third. And the pitch to Wright. This is going to be an RBI single for Aaron Wright. So she comes through, ties it up at 2. Nice job by Aaron Wright to drive home Lauren Madsen.
That's a nice rip right there from Aaron Wright.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. Get the run in, get yourself on base, and the batter now is Michaela Delaney, junior on this Tigers team, and she's very good as well. So we'll see what we can get here from Delaney. Wright's going to try to steal second and gets tangled up with the second baseman down there. Looks safe to me, and they're going to call her safe.
Didn't really see any sort of signal from the second base ump out there.
Looked like he was waiting to make his decision.
So a tie ball game here, the bottom of the first, 2 apiece.
And that was a tough call for the umpire because of how Aaron Wright slid in there. And she's going to get back to second. Looked like she was looking to take third.
So some aggressive base running here for the Tigers. Has already paid off in 1 run. We'll see if it pays off here again.
Yep. And this is going to be, could it be an RBI? Wright's coming home. We'll see. Throw. There's not going to be a throw home, and Michaela Delaney gives the Tigers a 3-2 lead. That was nice.
That ball hit almost in the identical spot that Aaron Wright hit hers in. Another RBI single for the Tigers as they take the lead 3-2 here in the bottom of the first. There's 2 out, and coming up to the plate is Caitlin Coleman, the third baseman for the Tigers.
And, you know, I said earlier that it was going to be difficult to score a run on a score a run from second on a base hit. We'll hold that thought. Delaney's going to take second, and she's going to be thrown out, it looks like.
No, that ball went, they weren't able to come up with that catch and rolled into the outfield there.
Yeah, there were about 3 people blocking my view of that one. But, yeah, you know, I guess it's proving to be less difficult to score that runner from second on a base hit than I thought it would be. It's been done twice in the ball game now. Delaney's going to try to take third. This will be close. And she's out. So the aggressive base running for the Tigers in the first inning, at least, is finally going to come to an end. You never want to get the last out of the inning at third base. That's what Delaney does, and we will see.
Well, so the Tigers base runner gets thrown out trying to steal third as they take the lead 3-2, and we're headed to the top of the second inning.
Nice lead for the Tigers here, 3-2. Dysert comes out to pitch once more. The hope for me is that this game gets wrapped up before 6 o'clock. Not broadcasting to a live audience this evening, so I won't advertise for the talent show, but the 3rd annual Urbana High School Talent Show, 7 o'clock on the date of this game. Thursday the 7th. I'll be hosting that alongside Kyle Robinson. Abram Washington strolls up. I give him a handshake. And, you know, Jason, I wore my Jerry Garcia tie just for this occasion, so for the talent show. So It'll be fun, as this is going to be a base hit for Central. Maybe a double, we'll see. They're going to go for it, throw to second, not in time. But this Jerry Garcia tie, far and away my favorite tie. Abram doesn't know what to think about it. It's very polarizing tie. You know, I went into Circle K to get a Mountain Dew before I came here, and both of the employees that were there complimented me on the tie. So,
it's a nice looking tie, Joe.
Thanks. And you know, when we upload this game to YouTube and show it live, or not show it live, but show it on Urbana Public Television, we might have to just replace the game footage with a still shot of the tie.
Oh, I don't know if the television viewing audience is ready for something like that.
Maybe some still shots of other Jerry Garcia, because the whole collection, just incredible. There's a strikeout here from Central.
Going to bring Cribbett up to the plate.
With one out and a runner on second base.
Taylor Cribbett out in center field today.
And after her, one more batter, and then we're at the top of the order once more. Urbana could really use a double play here. They'd be unlikely here on this fly ball to center. It's off the wall. Delaney will field it. One run for Central will likely score. And in fact, it will. An RBI double for Taylor Cribbett.
So with one out, the Maroons tie things up here in the top of the second at 3 apiece. Runner on second. And coming up to the plate
is Reinhold. So we're tied at 3. One out, runner on second, as you alluded to just moments ago, inside ball number 2 to Reinhold. Reinhold is the right fielder in this one. And this is going to be a strike. So nice job by Dysert to battle back. I have a feeling this is going to be one of the all-time legendary softball games. Just that, I have that feeling. And who knows, you know?
Well, I was talking to Urbana's coach before the game, and he said this is going to be a good one. I was glad that we made it out to this one. Although he did comment it was a little chilly.
And a walk to Reinhold here. The runner takes second base. Taylor Cribbett, or takes third base, I should say. Throw went over to third. Wasn't expecting that.
That was a nice toss over there, though.
Nice throw, yeah.
I don't know if Taylor Cribbett was expecting that, but she already made it back to the bag.
Yeah, I was expecting the throw to go to second there. This is popped out of play. Looks like it'll hit the dugout, and it does. And it almost hit a car over there. Don't think it would have done too much damage as it was off the dugout.
Abram, did you park near here? Oh, thought maybe we could play a little bit of a game.
Walked here, huh? Hopefully not all the way from Parkland.
Ricardo Vargas did.
Yeah.
Is he here?
No.
No.
He's still walking.
Yeah.
And he left at 12.
Yeah. I remember Ricardo Vargas was part of a softball crew that we did, softball crew that did a game last year, and whole crew except Stanley went out to Buffalo Wild Wings after the game, and for some reason Ricardo didn't tag along. Grounded, goes foul.
And in case you didn't hear Joey, you probably heard the umpire shout that afterwards. He let everybody know that it was a foul ball.
An authoritative.
So runners go back. Batter goes back to the plate.
Gotta love these umpires. for the IHSA. I'm surprised Abram doesn't officiate softball and baseball for the IHSA. He's going to stick to basketball. This is grounded foul. Straight back. And runners on second and third. The pitch inside. That'll set up ball 3.
So Patton 0 for 1 on the day. She grounded out back in the first inning.
Tigers could use a strikeout here. That's fouled straight back. At the end of this half inning, we'll discuss a little bit the new girls varsity basketball coach for the Tigers, Chris Menig. And there's a strikeout for Urbana, and that's much needed because I think a ground ball could have potentially scored the runner from third. It would have been close.
So 2 out here in the top of the second. It's a tie ball game at 3 apiece. Runners on second and third. There's the pitch.
And it's popped into center field. Delaney will not field it. It bounces in front of her. This will score 2 for the Maroons. They go back on top 4-3.
5-3.
5-3, wow. Oh, yeah, because they'd already tied it. Either way, they have a 2-run lead now. And the batter is Caldwell for the Maroons, the catcher.
Caldwell's the one who started a string of, well, rather in the middle of all the doubles that we saw last inning. She had an RBI double.
And this is a high ball, number 2. Hey, I believe that was Lucy that got it started, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. After 2 quick out, ooh, and this is line to left. It's going to take 1 bounce, hit off the wall. This could very well score a run for the Maroons. It will not. A nice throw into Dysert from Shea Feller, the shortstop. Easily could have scored a run there. Well, not easily, but...
Well, not after that.
After the throw. But
it looked like you might have been able to score, but running from first, only able to make it to second there, but a double from Caldwell.
And this is going to be a low ball 1. Leading off for the Tigers in the next half inning will it be Coleman or Pittman? As this is grounded to Sanders, throw to Matson, and that ends the half inning. So the Tigers down 5-3. And real quick, Jason, do you have any thoughts about Chris Menig, the new girls varsity basketball coach for the Tigers?
Well, I think that's a real good hire for the
Great
Urbana
hire.
Tigers. Of course, he brings a winning tradition along with him. He was the St. Thomas More girls basketball coach as they made a run. Was it 2 seasons ago now? I think Jay Price has been the coach for the last 2 seasons.
With McCoy. I thought it was
might have been 3 seasons, though, now that
2012, I think, is what Mr. Waller, the athletic director, told me. Yeah.
It was Tori McCoy's freshman season.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah. And then year before that, I believe he finished in second place at state, made it to the championship game. Stephen Waller, the athletic director, also said he's assisted at Arizona State and Illinois, so he has the connections with the D1 programs around America. You know, Arizona State's not too close to Champaign, Urbana. That's where Nick Ramito is attending. He played varsity boys basketball for the Tigers last year.
Well, I think the girls basketball team has had some nice momentum ever since the hire of Coach Jamal Matuka a few seasons ago, and this even kind of puts them up on the next level beyond that. So this will be real nice, see if they can build off what they started this year going into next season and beyond with the new varsity girls Urbana High School coach in Chris Menig.
Yep. His wife, Erica Menig, is the soccer and volleyball coach here at Urbana High School. They have not named a varsity basketball coach on the boys' side. I certainly have no shortage of theories on who they could go with.
Oh, I'm sure some of those are far-fetched.
Yeah.
Who do you have in mind?
Well, Phil Jackson, Tom Tip, you know, did Scott Brooks ever land a job? Or
I don't think he has yet.
Yeah. He could, yeah. New York and the Knicks are going to have a vacancy.
Phil Jackson says he wants Kurt Rambis, so.
Yeah.
Well, Phil Jackson, as good of a coach he was, is proving that he's not that good of an executive.
Yeah.
As we get the bottom of the second inning underway here.
This is, in fact, Caitlin Coleman, who was batting when Michaela Delaney was thrown out at third to in the last inning.
Correct. So 0-1 the count, and there is ball 2 to Coleman.
So 2-0. You know, Phil Jackson's name. Of course, it's going to come up several times. You know that he might coach the Knicks, just because that's how it always is with the Knicks. Phil Jackson.
Well, and I really think the situation is similar to what you've seen in Miami for the past decade or so. Is Eric Spoelstra is not the coach, Pat Riley is, and Derek Fisher's not the coach, or Kurt Rambis isn't the coach. Phil Jackson is.
Yeah, Phil Jackson certainly, if you don't know basketball, has had success. Won many championships in the '90s with the Chicago Bulls, and then many championships in the 2000s with the Los Angeles Lakers. As Coleman draws a walk.
So leadoff player gets on for the Tigers as they play catch-up here. Down 5-3 in the bottom half of the second.
Batter here, Emily Pittman. Yeah, but I mean, they're familiar to this situation. You know, they were down by 2 the last time they batted, and they took a 1-run lead. Matter of fact, that half inning started off exactly the same as this one has. Maddie Sanders drew a walk to start the bottom of the first. Caitlin Coleman has drawn a walk. This is a bunt by Pittman, and it's a great bunt. Can she get to first in time? She is safe. And Coleman's going to take third.
So just about a picture-perfect bunt there, and she raced down to first. The throw a little high, pulls the first baseman off the bag. She is safe and enables Coleman to get all the way to third on that one. So runners at the corners now, no out for the Tigers.
Now, if I'm Haley Rucker right here, I bunt too. You know, I get both runners in scoring position and at the top of the order to drive them home. Never mind that, as looks like Pittman's going to get into second, so now Rucker can drive them home.
Well, and what that does, it takes out the double play
yep.
situation. So nice base running there once again for the Tigers.
And this is going to be a strike. It's 1-1. Yeah, nice job by Pittman here. They're there to steal second. Foul. And it's a good thing the screen was there. That wouldn't have hit a car in the parking lot, but it could have gone into the street with how that one was hit. It's 1-2. Now the wind's picking up. We mentioned that earlier. As this is going to be ball number 2. It's 2-2. I didn't wear a hat, and of course, the wind doesn't make me want one, but I felt that needed to be said. Rucker strikes out, and that'll bring up Maddie Sanders. She walked in the bottom half of the first. Athletic Director Stephen Waller is in attendance this afternoon, standing in the parking lot, talking to a parent, as this is ball number 1 to Maddie Sanders. If Sanders can get on base, whether it be via a walk or a base hit, Cameron White will have a chance to bring them all home. A base hit, though, from Sanders could score the run from third at least. But a walk would load the bases for White. On deck after Cameron White, situation permitting, would be Lauren Matson. Shea Feller would bat after that. And here is strike number, was that strike 1 or 2 to Sanders? There are 2 balls in the count, at least one strike. And this is popped foul. Will that hit the car? No, a spectator does a nice job of.
This is a driver's education car too. It would have hit. So
no, actually, the driver's education car, that is the model that the old ones were. But
well, the license plate says driver education on it.
Does it?
Yeah.
It does.
So that's the driver education car. You may have a new one now, but that's still, it's always parked there.
Well, but it doesn't have the driver's education top on it, so maybe that's an out of, I don't know.
I think that's the old one, but
yeah.
it's
It's the same model as the old ones are.
yeah.
Yeah. The new ones are Chevy Impalas, I believe. And this pitch is behind Sanders. She draws a walk, so just what I was talking about earlier, that loads the bases for Cameron White. One out. If she can avoid the double play, the Tigers will likely score a run unless that out is recorded at home. Good opportunity for the Tigers here. Strike one to White. That's a nice ray of sunshine shining down on us. And a low pitch to White. This will be ball one. We're not going to see the runners advance on something like that, though, with the close dimensions we have here at the softball field. To my knowledge, the softball field isn't named anything, so it's just the softball field.
The Urbana High School softball field. I think that's what it's known as, and yeah, not dedicated to any namesake or certain park or anything like that. So the Tigers down by 2, a prime opportunity here to score with the bases loaded and only one out in the bottom half of the second.
3-1, I believe. I'm going to champion this as Urbana Stadium. Not much of a stadium, but
that's what I was getting ready to say.
And it's strike two. Yeah, it's just this one little row of bleachers.
That'll bring up the full count here.
With the bases loaded, White's just got to have to avoid the double play. Full count to White, and she strikes out. But Lauren Madsen will still have an opportunity to bring the runners home. If she could draw a walk, it would be huge because it would bring up Shea Feller, who is capable of getting on base. And then, of course, Aaron Wright, always dangerous with the bat, would have a chance. Swing and a miss by Madsen, 0-1.
First baseman Lauren Madsen, 1 for 1 on the day. She had an RBI single back in the first.
And this is going to be outside, ball 2. Or ball 1, excuse me. The scoreboard was a little off. But it is ball number 1. 1-1 to Madsen. Popped up, look out. It's not going to hit us. It's going to be dropped by the catcher out there. So the initial fear was that we would get hit. The second fear was that it would be caught for the third out.
I think your initial fear was we would get hit. I wasn't too worried. I think I could have caught that.
You never know. The wind, it's been blowing in gusts, so, the wind picks that up. And either way, Madsen will strike out. The Tigers leave the bases full.
So a blown opportunity there by Urbana as the pitcher able to retire 2 in a row on strikes. After a walk, left the bases loaded. So the Tigers still trail by 2 as we head to the top of the third. And we'll see later in this ball game if that'll come back to haunt the Tigers, leaving 3 players on with only 1 out and just unable to move them across the plate.
What a delightful little puppy that is over there on the first base side, behind the spectators. Oh, that's a little guy, only maybe a few weeks old, maybe a little older than that, but likely not very. Yeah, I mean it's what's it doing?
Joey, I think you need to start an animal show.
Yeah. I could have someone from the animal shelter as a guest on the Joey Wright Show every week.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I'm certainly much more of a dog person than I am a cat person. I don't have good experiences with cats in the past. No. Meanwhile, grounded to the shortstop Feller. Oh, and she's going to be on board. The runner for Central is going to be on board with the single. I was all kinds of distracted there. No. All right.
And the umpires meeting midway between first base and home plate to discuss that last play, I think.
Looked safe to me, but I think she came off the bag after she made it there. So we'll see. Looks like she's going to stay there safe. Our camera looked to be in danger, so I looked away, but it was grounded between, I believe, Feller and Coleman. Got past him into left field. And it's a single for Central. And I was also petting the puppy. So. But now that I've pet the puppy, it's old news, and we'll move on. Grounded to third, and it's going to be foul. I tell you, Jason, though, if any cats show up, not kittens, but full-grown cats, I'll have to flee.
Are you allergic to cats?
I'm not allergic, but I have a good anecdote.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
Yeah, we'll spare it for the. We'll spare it until the end of this half inning. But when I was 5, it got real at my grandparents' house. We'll save that for later. Grounded to third, could be 1 at first, and the throw to Madsen is in time. 1 out. Abram does bring up a good point. It would have rolled foul. But
well, we think that it would have, but that was real close to third base, and, you know, that's kind of the third base player's, Caitlin Coleman's decision.
I mean, she made the right.
She can get an out. She can get an out.
Yeah, she made the right call. She got the out.
That ball inside for ball 1.
Yeah, she made the right call. One ball on the count here. I tell you, though, if I'm a dog as little as that one, you know, you have to be on your toes because you never know when that ball is gonna clear the fence, and that's softball. I mean, it's larger than a baseball, so it poses a large threat to that little puppy. If it finds itself in the wrong place at the wrong time, we'll keep an eye on things.
MacArthur 0 for 1 on the day as she struck out back in the second inning. She gets walked right there.
So the Tigers are in a good position. Sorry to cut you off, but they have a force out. It's third, second, or first. Or first, second, or third sounds a little bit better. But, you know, with 1 out.
Taylor Cribbet's at the plate, and Cribbet is one that ripped that ball into center field last time up for an RBI double. And she's 1 for 1 on the day.
Fouls that on to Washington Street. Pretty good crowd here at the softball field this afternoon.
Late arriving crowd, as I'm sure that has to do with the 4:30 start and most people's workday lasting until 5. Runner beats that one out to load the bases up for Central here.
Tigers have to be careful because the dimensions here aren't. I mean, it's not a deep park. So, I mean, we saw Central hit a few home runs last year. Maybe one by, that's what a few means in this case, but We'll see. Remember, the Tigers had the bases loaded in the last half inning, and they left them stranded. Two and 0. And this is a strike, so 2 and 1. This is the top of the order for the Maroons. Grounded to first. This will be 1. And Madsen steps on the bag. 2 outs now, but the run scores. Tigers are down by 3. Might we have a substitution for the Maroons? I think we will. And it'll be number 8, another Lucy coming in for the Maroons. You know, Jason, I thought it was going to be colder than it was, but it's not unbearable. Other than Abram Washington blocking the sunshine for me, it's not too bad. As I say that, the wind picks up. Top of the third, runners on second and third, and strike 1. Grounded to short, and it's going to be misplayed. Central's going to score a run. Shea Feller and throw home. Not in, or it is in time. Throw to Aaron Wright. Is going to record the third out, but not before Central brings home one more. 7-3 now, the lead for the Maroons. That caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting Central to try it, and for that exact reason, it didn't pay off. Very risky call for the Maroons, and it's the third out of the inning.
Well, I think when you have a 4-run lead and pretty consistent throughout the innings in scoring, I think you feel comfortable in taking a risk like that, perhaps make it a 5-run lead. But nonetheless, 7-3 here. The Maroons leading in this crosstown rivalry as we head to the bottom of the third.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, when you're up, you can take chances, but just be aware that later on in the game, if you're not up as much and you lose the game by a run or two, you know, you'll regret that. Leadoff batter will be
shortstop Shea Feller.
Yep.
Feller 0 for 1 on the day, struck out back in the first inning.
Tigers baseball team in action this afternoon. They are playing at home against Bloomington. Debut of some new uniforms for the Tigers. They're nice. They're orange. Like an orange kind of camo design from what I saw. I didn't get a great look at them earlier. And the JV team is in action at Peoria or at Bloomington, I think. One of those two. And there is a girls track meet in action in Decatur right now as well. First pitch to Shea Feller is in there, strike 1.
Well, I'm sure we'll get a chance to see those new orange jerseys, orange uniforms here on the Tigers Media Network, as we're covering a number of baseball games coming up here in the month of May,
Indeed.
late April and May.
I think we have 5 of them left, so that'll be fun. First one, I think we play Notre Dame on the 16th.
That is correct. So a week from tomorrow, or week from this Saturday, I suppose 9 days away.
And high to Feller, second ball of the at-bat. Yep, so Notre Dame, that's a conference game, so we'll get to see those new uniforms. They're only in use for the conference games. Not sure if they have a road variant of them, but it is an orange uniform, so they could probably wear that at home and away, I'd imagine. popped up. This won't leave the infield. And it's going to be fielded at second. And Feller pops out, first out of the half inning. So bottom of the third, one out. Aaron Wright will step up to the plate. Wright, I believe, 1 for 1 on the day with the RBI earlier. In the first inning, pitch to Wright. Outside, ball 1.
Yeah, an RBI single for Aaron Wright.
1-0 to Wright. Should point out, no relation. My last name is also Wright, same spelling.
She's probably very thankful for that.
Well, she's a better softball player than I am. I should point out, though, as that's a strike, I am, and I can't prove this, but at least in recent memory, I'm the only one at Urbana High School to have been ejected from a PE softball game. As that's the second strike to
That's
Aaron
nothing
Wright.
to be proud of. I don't know.
Well, you leave it all out on the field, and
that you did, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't a good move that day, but you play with passion, and it'll pay off for you.
How many hits did you have that game? You forgot about that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I had a few good games.
Not memorable,
yeah.
Apparently.
Well, I mean,
that one fouled straight back.
When something as eventful as what happened in the, that inning happens, you'll forget about what happened earlier in the game. I had a few good games though when we did softball and PE. I hit a double and a triple in one particular instance. His Wright strikes out. That was low and inside. Second out of the half inning. Brings up Delaney. Michaela Delaney.
So 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom half of the third inning. As Feller popped out, followed by a strikeout for Aaron Wright. That one ripped.
And diving diving right fielder can't get to it.
That's a stand-up double.
Yeah.
Nice hit there from Michaela Delaney.
Would have been a nice grab out there and right, but she just couldn't get to it in time. A little late on the dive, I think. Tipped off the glove.
That brings up Caitlin Coleman.
And a good opportunity for Coleman to bring in Delaney and decrease the lead to 4. This is going to be out of play, just past the dugout on the first base side. Coleman will dig in. 0-1 is the count. And Coleman, that's going to be a base hit into left. Delaney's going to try to come home. Throw to the plate is going to be in time. So Delaney has been thrown out at third and at the plate in this one. That was a risky call and it didn't pay off. An aggressive call. You can't falter for trying there. And Delaney.
Well, and you know where that ball was out there in shallow left field. You look like you might have been able to make it home, but didn't round third quite quick enough, and a really good throw there.
Yeah, it was a great
on
throw.
The Central Maroons part to get that last out of the inning.
And I think the slide cost her a little bit too. If you notice, I don't think she got all the way to the plate. If she did, she barely got there.
Well, and the catcher did a nice job of blocking the plate.
Yeah. Blocking it without getting too much in the way to where the umpire would call it.
Well, as long as you have the ball, you can get right in the way, and she had the ball, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, but she kind of stood on the third baseline, but it was far enough back to where it gave Delaney a lane, and then when she got the ball, she was able to position herself to make the tag.
So this crowd continues to grow here as we start the fourth inning.
Larger crowd than we saw at the Oscar Adams Gymnasium for some games, I think. just one game in particular stands out, the Saturday game against Williamsville that no one was particularly into.
Coleman able to scoop that one up and toss it over to Matson for the first out of the inning.
And when I say no one was into that one, we didn't broadcast it. We only scored 30 points that evening, I think 30 or 40 points, and there was a Central Centennial basketball game that same night. It's going to attract a much larger crowd when you've got a matchup against Williamsville at Urbana.
And Caldwell now 3 for 3 on the day, 2 doubles, and she just got a single right there.
And that will bring up Pettigrew to the plate, number 19.
Pettigrew already has 2 RBI on the day. She had a double back in the first inning that scored 2. She grounded out in the second inning.
.17 p.m. Central Standard Time is this pitch in there for a strike toward a second, and it's going to get into the outfield. Nice job by Caldwell to steal second base. It was a good throw, I just not the best scoop down there at second. This is ripped down the line. It's going to go foul. Looked like it. Well, I mean, the view of it was obstructed by the third base dugout, but from the reaction of the fans there, I'd say that had home run distance.
Well,
or close to it.
Not quite that far. It was quite a few feet short of going over the fence there, but less feet short of being a fair ball. But the Tigers avoid one there. That one high.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the fans groan, and I know I've missed out on many a home run because they just went foul. in wiffle ball. I'm in the backyard.
Against your younger brothers.
Yeah. Okay, so this is popped to the shortstop, Feller. She makes the play. Nice job by Shea Feller to record the out. And that'll bring up Watts to the box. She is the pitcher for the Maroons, number 7.
Watts 1 for 2 on the day. She had a single back in the third and grounded out her first time up in the first.
And this
that one's going to be just foul.
Yep. That was closer than the other one, though, I'd say. I know that was short, Abram. I would say closer to being a fair ball than the other one.
A little bit more of a line drive, a little bit more power behind that one, and it didn't get caught up in the air.
Yep.
That one low and in the dirt for ball 1.
I'd say the wind is blowing out to right field this afternoon. When it is blowing, it's coming in gusts. Swing and a miss for a strike.
So 1-2 the count here on Watts. Runner on second.
And we'll see if Watts can get the runner in. 1-2, popped up. Delaney is there, and that's third out of the inning. So nice job by the Tigers to end the rally that never got started, I guess, for the Maroons. And the leadoff batter for the Tigers will be Emily Pittman.
So the Maroons leave one stranded there as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's a 7-3 ball game in favor of Central.
And remember, it was right around this part of the order last time that the Tigers were able to get runners on board. Pittman, Rucker, and Sanders, I believe, all got on base. Did Coleman have a part in that when they left the bases loaded? Or I think she got on base as well at some point, but I have to double check that. That's a good point. I believe the bases were loaded when it was Pittman, Rucker, and than Sanders, but I just think I remember Coleman leading off that half inning. At least 30 people and one puppy in attendance this afternoon. As Pittman will come up to the boxes, Central's going to break huddle out there on the mound. Countdown to the talent show, 1 hour, 38 minutes away at the Urbana High School auditorium. Of course, this broadcast not live, so it's not of much pertinence to anyone in or viewing the broadcast, I should say. 1-1 to Pittman. Pittman needs to get on base here. That's a phrase that's much uttered. This is fouled straight back onto Washington Street. And it's going to go into a yard and into one of those storage, or not storage, one of those storm drain catchers, I guess you'd call them. This is popped up, not going to leave the infield to second base. The second base player, and Pittman has gotten out for the first time of the half inning. So the batter, Haley Rucker. And of course, Rucker needs to get on base. That's, said often, but it's so true at this point in the game. You're not going to be playing forever. Rucker swings. This is fouled to the third base side. Out of play. And on to near a sidewalk bordering Washington Street. Washington Street, the street that runs right behind the softball field. On deck is Maddie Sanders, and after Sanders, situation permitting, would be Cameron White. Lauren Matson is after White. Again, situation permitting. This is ball number 2.
We'll see in 6 days.
And this will be high ball 3. Jason Liggett joins us, talking a little basketball with Abram. And you were talking about the NBA, but you go to college. How about that shot from Villanova the other night?
I taught him that.
Yeah. Such a great play as Rucker draws the walk. I mean, that was a beautifully drawn up by Jay Wright, the head coach of the Villanova Wildcats. Indiana used that same play to beat Kentucky several years ago. 2011, I think it was. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't fix it, as the old adage goes. Sanders bunts. This is a good bunt, and she's going to get safely to first. So the Tigers could have an opportunity here, as Cameron White will step up to the batter's box. Runners on first and second.
White 0 for 2 on the day with 2 strikeouts.
She needs to fix that here. She's going to bunt. This is a less nice bunt, but it's going to get her on base and load the bases. One out here for Lauren Matson. I think There might be 2 outs, actually. For Lauren Madsen. Either way, you know, there's just 1 out. I was right at first. But, I mean, Lauren Madsen's got a great opportunity to bring these runners home with the bags loaded. It's a situation that the Tigers couldn't capitalize on the last time they were in a situation like this. Sanders was off of second with a pretty healthy lead. Thought they were going to throw over and try to get her, but they did not.
Madsen 1 for 2 on the day. An RBI single back in the first. And struck out last inning.
Grounded to short, they'll get 1. Sanders at third. But Madsen drives in a run, and the Tigers now with 4. They trail by 3. It was bobbled down there at short, and I thought Sanders might have had a chance to get in to third safely. She did not. Shea Feller, the batter here, popped up. Is that going to get down? It will. And coming home is White.
Safe.
She's safe. And the runners will advance to second and third. The Tigers are rolling here. Down 2 now.
So a 7-5 ball game. There's 2 out for the Tigers.
And the batter, Aaron Wright. Now look out. She has the capability to get these runners in. 2 outs, obviously an out will in the rally. But Wright with a chance to tie it up at 7. First pitch to Wright. High, ball 1. So 1-0, Wright steps back into the box. Here's the pitch, and it's in there for strike 1. Base runners have to be on edge here. You don't want to get picked off to end the inning. This will be a 1-1 pitch to Aaron Wright. And Lauren Madsen's coming home, and it's a 6-5 game. And here we go. Ball went past the pitcher at the plate, and we are tied at 7 in Urbana. That all happened so quickly. Aaron Wright didn't even have to do anything to get the runners in. Madsen and Feller came in to score. We're tied at 7. And Jason, you know, I said earlier, had a feeling that this could be an all-time classic.
Well, a nice inning here for the Tigers right where they needed it in the bottom of the 4th. They were trailing by 4. Hadn't scored in the last 2 innings, so.
And this is low ball 3. Yeah, you know, it took a little break there from being an all-time classic.
But an all-new ball game right here.
Tied at 7. This is high, ball 4, so a nice at-bat from Aaron Wright. I believe she will get credit for those RBIs, won't she? Or will, cause she was at the plate.
Not too sure how that worked. I think, was it a wild pitch that they scored on at first, or?
I think a wild pitch and then the error, but.
Well, then those aren't going to be RBIs. Those are going to be unearned runs. RBIs, runs batted in. If you don't hit it. And they get thrown out at second base there. So.
Right, tried to take second, and she couldn't. Well, I don't know. When I played ball in 4th grade, I got walked several times with the bases loaded. I know I called those RBIs. Just because that looked good for me.
So the Tigers tie things up as we're headed into the top of the 5th inning. Knotted up at 7. As Dysart heads back to the mound.
It's 5:30. Game on pace to end, I'd say, at about 45 minutes from now.
Just 2 innings left to play. Or I'm sorry, 3 innings.
Well, I'm never concerned about when it's going to end. Of course, I'm in a time crunch today, but so today I am, I should say. You know, it'll end when it ends, and certainly we have a great ball game on our hands.
Well, at this rate, we're headed to extras, Joe.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know if I do have to leave early, Abram Washington will fill in for me. Pitching is Autumn Dysart, and catching is
Dysart is pitching.
Aaron Wright. She's behind the plate to answer Abram's question on the air. Popped up to Maddie Sanders at second, and she makes the play, 1 out. Been working on a code red all game, and it's part of my talent show strategy is to just get all caffeinated up and then go put on a good show. I'm never able to go to sleep at night, Abram. They call me the night owl for a reason. Swinging strike 1 there, and now a foul ball straight back. It's 0-2.
MacArthur struck out back in the second inning. Walked her last time up in the third.
This is going to be ball. That was ball 1 as it skipped past right behind the plate. And strike 3 call.
And didn't look like MacArthur was happy about that call, or at least surprised about it.
She has the right to be upset about that one. That looked to be inside. Could have gone either way, I'd say.
Taylor Cribbett up to the plate. She takes strike 1. She's 2 for 2 on the day. An RBI double and a single.
This is popped up to right. Play is made, and a quick half inning for the Tigers there.
3 up, 3 down. A pop out followed by a strikeout and another pop out. We're headed to the bottom of the 5th. The Tigers have a chance to take the lead for the first time since the top of the second inning.
And, you know, Jason, if the Tigers score 10 runs here, the game is over. The 10-run rule would kick into effect.
It's a lofty goal.
Yeah, I mean.
The pace that they've been playing, I don't expect that to happen, but they did have a 4-run inning last inning.
Times that by 2 and add 2 more. You know, my math grade's not the strongest, but.
I think you got it right there.
Yeah. But, you know, that's how this game works. You know, baseball and softball, you get going and you're there. Yeah, well, I don't know if that makes much sense, Abram. The going gets tough for the other team, but
you still got to play through adversity.
Yeah.
From the other team.
Center fielder Michaela Delaney due up for the Tigers.
And Delaney, you know, she loves the game of softball, and she's certainly very talented at the game of softball, so we will see. I was talking to her earlier. Said she was a little battered up from the last game, a few injuries in that one, but she's good to go for this one.
Well, she's 2 for 2 on the day, so they must not have affected her that much or lingered too bad.
Good to go, yeah.
An RBI single back in the first and had a double.
Last year, I think we were
playing. Third inning.
Well, we'll wait. That's the first pitch. Strike 1. Last year, we were covering the game against Central, and I believe she was injured in that one. She's playing shortstop or third in that game, and slight injury in that one, but hopefully that's not a forecast for things to come in this one. Either way, it's 1-1 to Delaney. And she fouls this one straight back. It'll be 1-2. One and 2 pitch popped. Wow, crushed that. Hit a car, but I mean, she whacked that foul down the first base line over the dugout. bounced and hit the window of a car, but
See if she can get out in front of this one, straighten that out, get the ball in play. And she does just that. It's going to be a nice single there.
maybe a double. She's rounding first. It was misplayed out there and right. And a double for Michaela Delaney. So good start here for the Tigers. Caitlin Coleman will stand in, the third baseman. What's Coleman done in this one, Jason?
Well, Coleman had a walk back in the second inning, and then in the third, she came up with a single.
And we've seen it happen. You know, a single could score a run from second, so she... I didn't think it was going to happen as much as it has, but it has, in fact, been the case where that can happen. It's 0-2 now.
Well, and keep your eye on Delaney out there on second base. The Tigers' aggressive base running, sure to continue.
Yeah, she's been perhaps the most aggressive runner for Urbana in this one. Coleman grounds to short. Throw to first, and Delaney's going to try to take third. Throw is not in time. Michaela Delaney takes third. She waited until the throw went over to first. And nabbed third. That was I knew she was going to do that when I saw the grounder to short. Nice job by Delaney. Batter now is Emily Pittman. And this is fair. Just short little grounder in front of first. Safe at first is Pittman. And Delaney comes home and gives the Tigers the lead. That's one way to do it. It was a short little grounder right in front of home plate that rolled a little bit. It looked like it was going to roll foul, but it never did.
It had a nasty backspin on it. I think it made it come back fair, and it looked like it was going to stay that way. So an RBI single there for Pittman. That brings up Haley Rucker.
It would have been close. I think if the spin had slowed down a little bit, it would have gone foul. Bunt attempt by the Tigers. He's going to go foul by, I should say, by Rucker there.
So the Tigers take the lead here in the bottom of the fifth. An 8-7 ball game at Urbana High School.
Maddie Sanders on deck. Popped up onto Washington Street.
Named after Abram Washington,
Yeah.
right? He wishes. I would never use that road if that was the case.
Take the, yeah, you'd have to go around the football field to get to
I would.
the softball field. Yeah. It'd be, yeah, wow. Yeah, because there's wouldn't be convenient to bypass Washington Street. Grounded to third. It's going to be one, but you're not going to get too many double plays here at the softball field.
So 2 out now
For Maddie Sanders.
Sanders with 2 walks coming in the first and second inning, and then had a single just last inning.
And, you know, a single, if it's bobbled around a little bit, watch out. Looks like we've got a pinch runner at first. That looks like a nice Flint Roy from here. And the pitch to Sanders is strike one. Home run would score 2. And a one. You know, I'm an optimist. Yeah.
There's a bunt.
Sanders.
You got to put on the gas.
And it's going to, throwing error is going to allow Sanders to take first. A nice Flint Roy will get into third. Do you think she would have been safe even, you know, without the error? It would have been close.
Would have been a close call there.
So runners at the corners for Cameron White. Maybe it's gotten a little bit colder here in Urbana, not too noticeable First pitch to White. Sanders is going to try to take second, and the throw. There was no one on second to field it. I think Sanders would have gotten in there either way. And now runners in scoring position for White. Second and third. The pitch. Low. They're going to call that ball 2. Tigers score these 2 runs, give them a 3-run lead, and there would be just 2 more chances for the Maroons to bat. Strike 2, I believe, to White. Pitch to White. Bunt attempt. Goes foul. So I guess there's only 1 strike. Now there are 2. Remember, a single is going to score at least 1. Possibly could score 2. Certainly would score 2 in baseball, as Abram points out. Well, I mean, most singles in baseball are going to score 2. Pitch to White, outside ball 3.
That's going to bring up a full count here to Cam White. Runners on second and third, an 8-7 ball game in Urbana's favor. Bottom of the 5th.
Full count pitch, big situation for White. High ball 4. It'll bring up Lauren Matson with the bases loaded. And we'll see what she can do.
Matson, 2 for 3 on the day with 2 RBI singles and struck out back in the second. We'll see what Matson can do here.
First pitch, a swing and a miss. You don't want to try to do too much here. You just need to make contact, get yourself a base hit. Just aim for that RBI single. You mentioned she has 2 of them in the game so far. Grounded foul to the third base side. Well hit ball. So now she's got to look out with 2 strikes. The old adage goes, hit them where they ain't. There's a pretty big gap between center field and the left fielder. Center fielder and the left fielder. We'll see. Strike 3. Matson strikes out. And that ends the Tigers' half inning.
So for the second time this afternoon, the Tigers leave the bases loaded. But they are able to get 1 across as it's an 8-7 ball game now. We're headed to the 6th. Sounds like Jill Carter's going to come in the game.
Replacing, it looks like she's going to come in at right. Anais Flintroy.
I believe she's replacing Anais Flintroy.
Well, Flintroy was already in the game. She came in to pinch run for Rucker, I think.
We'll have to wait and see what happens here.
Yep.
I thought I heard him say 25 for 5, which means that Carter's coming in for Flintroy.
Well, because Haley Rucker was playing right field, and now Jill Carter's in there at right. So I think what happened was, I know what happened. They brought, when Rucker got on base, they brought in number 5, Anais Flintroy, to run for Rucker, and now they're going to bring in Jill Carter to play right for Flintroy.
There you go.
Yep. One of the rare moments where I'm on top of things. Yep, ball 1.
Natalie Stump up to the plate.
And it's strike 1. Popped foul. This will likely go to Washington Street. Matter of fact, beyond that, that's going to go on to Broadway. It hit the sidewalk, and it got lucky that it didn't hit any cars. The ball did. I guess if softballs could get lucky, it had a lucky moment. This is high. Ball number 2. Grounded to Feller. It's going to get past her and a base hit for Central. Natalie Snuff on board with a leadoff single. Abram, do you plan to attend the talent show this evening?
Yes.
That's good to hear.
He is the talent.
Even though he's already graduated, you know, they asked him to come back.
Just kidding.
But I'll be watching the Golden State Warriors tonight.
Pickoff attempt at first, almost successful. The fans are gonna argue that call, but I don't think Madsen made the tag.
No way.
Yeah, that was the right call, I think.
That was a right call.
I didn't see her make the tag. Grounded right back to the mound. Dysert fields it, and that's the right call, and out at first. I mean, it was close as to whether Madsen applied the tag there or not. Abram, what would your call have been there? Abram saw the tag. I didn't.
Everybody saw it.
Well,
Even the Central fans.
So number 14 back up for the Maroons. She's 2 for 3 on the day. She had a double back in the first, a 2 RBI single in the second, and then grounded out in the fourth. That brings her up to the 6th inning. Trailing by 1. That one's a rip to center field. It will be caught.
nice job by Delaney to get there, and we have 2 outs.
That's going to bring up a threat for sure in Dallas Caldwell. She's 3 for 3 on the day. 2 doubles. 1 RBI, and also a single.
Abram mentioned how he'd be watching the Warriors tonight. I was watching a little bit of the Masters live stream online during school because I'm a rebel, getting my golf fix.
I was going to say, all the rebels like golf. That's what I hear.
Well, the Masters tournament is one of the most prestigious sporting events in North America.
And that will be caught down the first baseline for out number 3. So the Tigers stay on top as the Central Maroons leave 1 stranded. And it's an 8-7 ball game as we head to the bottom of the 6th.
If they can get a run here and then just hold the Maroons, they win.
Some insurance runs sure would be nice if you're Urbana. We'll see what they can come up with.
Yep. But the Masters is to golf. I mean, it's the Super Bowl of golf, or, you know, a reference that more will understand. It's the Daytona 500 of golf. Well, the Ryder Cup's a little more international. It's like the FIFA World Cup of.
The AFC versus the NFC.
It's like the Pro Bowl of. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The Ryder Cup. England versus America.
Can't wait for it. It's this year, isn't it?
It's every year, isn't it? Every other year? I don't know. The Ryder Cup in one of my. I follow just the majors.
Shortstop Shy Feller due up for the Tigers. 1 for 3 on the day with a double and an RBI.
And if she can get on base, you know, you've got Aaron Wright, the catcher, due up after her, and then Michaela Delaney. So some very capable bats coming up for the Tigers.
Getting into the heart of the order here for Urbana. We'll see if they can keep things moving around the bases. Get an insurance run or 2 for Dysart when she gets back out on the mound.
If we see Dysart close the game out, you know, we could see someone else come in to close the game. Although Dysart's pitched pretty well, so
I think it'll be Dysart for sure.
Yeah.
I'll be very surprised.
Well, the Tigers have pitchers. I mean, you know, many of these girls on this team can pitch, so it'll be interesting to see. First of all, we've got to get there as Feller's in the box.
Feller takes strike 1.
Strike 2, she's swinging for the fences. Maybe not for the, I mean, maybe that's not her intention. That was a hardy cut at the plate. We'll see. 0-2, fouled straight back. So 0-2 the count. Right on deck, as we mentioned, and then it is Delaney. Ball one. If Feller could battle back and draw a walk, it would be an impressive achievement and an important one, as it would leave a runner on base for Wright. She's got some work to do, though. 2-1, or 1-2, I should say. Low, it's 2-2. Two, swing and a miss. It's strike three. So Wright steps up to the box. She's only a freshman, so one of the more impressive players on this team for her age. Season she's had, certainly a bright future for her on this Tigers softball team. 1-0 pitch, make that 2-0. High and outside, got past the catcher. Two and 0. 1-run lead for the Tigers, bottom of the sixth. Delaney on deck. After that, situation permitting, we would see Caitlin Coleman, and then Emily Pittman and Jill Carter. Pitch to right, ball four.
That's her second straight walk, as she drew a walk back in the fourth as well.
So now Delaney with a runner on base could drive home a run. It would take a lot to get the run in from first.
Delaney 3 for 3 on the day. An RBI single and 2 doubles.
A triple would score the run.
She was a little bit behind on that swing. She falls down 0-1.
Delaney's capable of hitting a home run, so we'll see. Obviously, that's a tall order for anyone. Wright's going to take second if the throw is a little late, and it is. So now it's not going to take as much to score Aaron Wright from first. Or from second, I guess it would be now. It is getting a little colder here in Urbana, and that's getting to me just a little bit. Massive cloud rolling in behind us. As our camera is tipped over, 1 run will score. Aaron Wright will come across the plate. A RBI single for Michaela Delaney. So we apologize for our little camera mishap there. Wright did come across to score. Michaela Delaney with the RBI single, and the batter now, Caitlin Coleman, the third baseman. Delaney very aggressive in this one on the base path, so we'll have to see what she can do. Pitch to Coleman is in there for a strike. It's 1-1 the count now. Coleman in this one, a walk and an RBI. And she's going to get thrown out at first, but advances Delaney to second base. So 1 out here. And it would be a big at-bat for Emily Pittman, the left fielder. If she can get the run in, this is going to be fouled to the third base side, off the dugout. And that's got to be at least the 5th ball that's gone on to Washington Street back there. Generous estimate. Jason, over under 5 that have gone onto the street back there.
I think just under.
Just under.
Counted to 4.
Feels like it's been about 50.
So a 9-7 ball game here in the bottom of the 6th. The Tigers get that one insurance run, but they have a runner in scoring position on second base. Would be nice to get another one, honestly.
We'll see. Pittman grounds it to short, gets past the shortstop, and that's going to score Delaney. So an RBI single for Pittman. Jill Carter will step up to the plate.
So Pittman 3 for 4 on the day. 3 singles and 2 RBI.
We have 1 out in this half inning, I believe. 2 outs. Can't see the scoreboard over there. Here is the pitch to Carter. Her first at-bat of the ball game. It's 1-0. So you think Dysert will step back up to the mound next inning?
Yep.
Next half inning? Yep. It's 1-0. 1-1, I should say. Maddie Sanders on deck with 2 outs, situation permitting. It's 1-2. Fouled, won't hit a car, but it will go onto the street. I feel sorry for whoever has to go get those.
That's Abram's job after the ball game. He's got to collect all the foul balls.
That's going to go foul.
He should have had that one. It was about 3 feet
come on,
behind
Abram.
him. He could have fell down and been on his back.
Yeah. I have to say, these fans are... You wouldn't have broken your hand, Abram. That was... You can catch it with both hands. I mean... Jill Carter pops to second, and the half inning is over. Tigers just 3 outs away from a victory. I think they can do it, Jason.
3 up, 3 out.
If they can hold on to this one, it would be a big win for the Tigers. We've not mentioned it in this one yet, but, you know, crosstown rivalry with these Maroons. You always want to win these games. Builds morale. You know, a lot of these players, you know, they're friends with each other, you know, on both teams. Gives you something to brag about. Even if you're not friends, you brag to your enemies.
So the Tigers take a 3-run lead here into the bottom of, or excuse me, top of the 7th.
I've made many enemies over the course of my life. One of those enemies, that cat, I was talking about 5 years old, at my grandparents' house, bounced the cat. My grandparents' cat attacked me.
The cat's name was Bounce,
Cat's
or you
name
physically
was
bounced
No,
the cat?
no, the cat's name was Bounce.
Oh, that's a rip.
Line to left.
A
and
nice
caught.
snag there.
Emily Pittman, 1 out. Yeah, no, Bounce the cat. It was an older cat.
And after that catch, the Tigers look determined here. That was a real nice hit from Pettigrew.
It was a liner straight at Pittman. This is fouled straight back. A nice job to hold on to that one.
Watts up at the plate. 1 for 3 on the day. 0-1 the count.
Yeah, MacArthur is on deck. This is going to be a base hit for Pettigrew, or for Watts, excuse me. MacArthur will step up to the plate. If she can avoid the double play, we'll keep playing after she bats.
MacArthur 1 for 3 on the day. Double back in the 2nd inning. Grounded out in the 3rd and popped out in the 5th.
Weather hasn't been as bad in this one as we thought it would be. Matter of fact, a middle school track meet was canceled due to the threat of inclement weather, but the weather's held off, and Just 2 outs away from a win. Swing and a miss for the strike. Doesn't look like Watts is going to take second or attempt to steal second, but if we get a wild pitch, then that could be the case. Whew. Swing and a miss that gets past right. And we have an advancement as Watts takes second. So it's 1-2.
I think Laris is in there as a pinch runner for Watts.
You do? Yep.
Yeah.
Laris is in as a pinch hitter indeed.
Pinch runner.
I said pinch runner.
Oh.
Yep. Hard to hear over the roar of the crowd. Popped up to right. Play is made. And the Tigers just 1 out away from a victory. That was Jill Carter who made the play. Certainly far from over here. You never know in this sport. Looks like we have a sub. And it looks like Hunter is going to come in and hit number 20. So, Tigers just 1 out away from a win. And oh, how sweet it would be to get this victory. You know, the Tigers have had a pretty successful season so far. And a win here would keep that train moving. Strike one. What a performance it's been from Autumn Dysert in this one. You know, she's allowed 7 runs, but in softball, you'll see that. Swing and a miss, strike 2. One out, 1 strike away from a win. Are the Tigers. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and the Tigers take home the win against Central. The Tigers knock off the Maroons.
So a quality win here for Urbana, Joey, as they get this one 10-7. We saw quite a few nice innings here from the Tigers, especially the 4th inning where they got 4 runs across to tie things up at 7. They trailed 7-3 going into the 4th, and then since then it was all Tigers. Not too much offense after that from the Maroons.
Yep. Yeah, it's perseverance, Jason. You know, you hang in there, you'll get the win. You just got to fight, and that's what the Tigers did successfully in this one. So our next broadcast tomorrow, 6 o'clock p.m., you said, Tigers soccer action. And then the afternoon game on Saturday. We have baseball on the 16th. That's what the schedule looks like for the Tigers Media Network.
And our next softball broadcast will be on the 21st, I believe. And I think that one's against Crosstown Rivalry Centennial. So
that'll be fun to watch, and we'll bring the action to you on the Tigers Media Network. So for the whole crew, I'll throw Abram Washington in there and Jason Liggett. I am Joey Wright. The Tigers knock off the Central Maroons 10-7, the final score. You stay safe, America.